science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction. Fiction. Fiction.
Spooky spectral Samhain salutations, all you cognonauts out there. Welcome to Exofathom. I am your host, Nick, and I am joined on this particularly spooky Halloween special by my two lovely co-hosts. Ayla, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm spooky.
Very spooky indeed. And we got Mike here. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, man. How you doing?
That's right. Just doing the cat poster all day.
With a little Halloween mask on this time.
Yes, indeed. And of course, for our Halloween special, it wouldn't be a special without a very special guest. We have here from the Thinkering Network, from the Thinkering Report, and from his very own If Numbers Can Talk, Keelan. How you doing, man?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me, guys. What's going on?
Of course. Thanks for coming on with us. Yeah, very happy to have you guys. And thank you so much, you guys, for listening. A little bit of promo on the front end here. Please give us a follow on all socials at Exofathom. That would be on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Please consider giving us some feedback on what you like about the episodes, what you don't like about the episodes, and what you might want us to talk about in the future. You can also follow Keelan at If Numbers Can Talk on Facebook and If Numbers Can Talk on Instagram with underscores between each word. And please give him some love. Go check his episodes out. I know his last episode was just about the sibling rivalry between Adidas and Puma. Is that correct?
Yes, it was, which was spooky within its own right when you look deep into the history.
I can imagine. So yeah, go check his channel out. Please give him the Exofathom welcome. And visit thinkering.space if you want to catch all the channels in one spot. It makes it very convenient for you. Go give that a look-see. Other than that, I wanted to thank our guests and thank you guys, our audience, for joining us. We got a really fun episode for you guys in the store tonight, since it is All Hallows Eve and tomorrow is the very spooky Halloween on a full moon, no less. We wanted to do a fun episode with you guys, a sort of mashup episode in which we do a little bit of history of Halloween in the beginning, and then we're going to get into a trivia contest for which the winner will win something. I'm trying to figure out what it's going to be, but we'll see. And then at the end of this episode, we're going to get into some scary stories. So please stay tuned. Be sure you do not want to miss that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So without much further ado on my end and less blabbering, I wanted to ask you guys, and this is the most important question, I think, of the night, except for one more that I have. But what was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid? And we'll start with Keelan.
My favorite Halloween costume as a kid.
Yes.
Man, this would have been an easier answer if you asked as an adult. As a kid, I think it might have been one year. I remember, and this is just when I think Halloween as a kid, this is a night that pops in my head often. So I'm going to use this costume. And it was a night where it was like all of my cousins and we all got a chance to go out together. We all, a bunch of us lived together, but we never really got to go out together like for Halloween and stuff because of our parents' schedule, et cetera, et cetera. So it would be my scorpion costume. And I want to say that was 1997, 96.
Oh, damn. That's pretty solid. You had a scorpion costume?
Yeah, it was the full scorpion, yellow mask, yellow sachet and everything. The little bit. It was crazy because now that I'm older, I look back and you're right. It was killer because it was like, wait, you got to be the real deal Holyfield out here. You know what I mean? But as a kid, it was just like, All right, she got me this what I asked for again. Yay.
Yeah, right.
When you got to the door, did you go, "Get over here" to the chocolate?
You should have.
I wish I was that cool as a kid, but no. I was not that cool as a kid. I wish.
Awesome. What about you, Mike? What was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid?
Man, how can I follow up the scorpion costume?
No, pretty tough.
I think I had like 2 or 3 parts of a Power Ranger costume. Like I had the little mask and maybe like a shirt part, but I remember really liking that one because I was a huge Power Rangers fan as a kid. It also had like a little rubber sword thing, so I could annoy my mom with it when we went trick or treating. So yeah, no, I think that one was the best one as a kid.
Well, which Power Ranger were you?
I was all of them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was I had the mask from one, I had the shirt from the other, and the weapon from another one.
Oh, taking all the best parts from each one. I get that.
Mhm.
Very cool. Captain
Very
Power Ranger.
utilitarian. Yes.
Captain Power Ranger.
I would have taken that. That's pretty cool.
Just the White Ranger though, with all the Rangers. Never mind.
What about you, Ayla? What was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid?
Well, I would have to go way back to when I was about 6 or 7. My mom made me a bumblebee costume, and it was custom made. She made it herself, and I loved it because it had a little stinger on the butt. And if I wanted extra chocolate, I just would turn around and wiggle my butt, and the adults would go wild. I had like a 2-bag haul that year. True story.
Right on. I was trying to think about mine, and I think it's a toss-up. I think I was a vampire like 4 or 5 times as a kid. And then I was a Ninja Turtle at least twice. So
Aw.
I would have to say, gotta be Ninja Turtle, especially since I think that was like one of my first school Halloween costumes. You know, like you do the little parade at school. And yeah, I think I wanted to be Raphael, but I think I got Michelangelo, which I'm still okay with. But yeah, I think it was I think I was Michelangelo for like preschool or kindergarten. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites for sure.
At least you didn't have to be Donatello.
That's true. Nobody wants to be Donatello.
All the kids would have tore you up for that.
Isn't it funny
No
how
pizza
nobody
for
likes Nobody likes Donatello, but he's like the most learned one and like the most like thoughtful guy.
Well,
We don't talk about that.
Means he's boring.
that's right.
You don't invite to the Halloween party.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Well, cool. Before we get into some further questions with you guys, and then ultimately our trivia that we're going to have with you guys, I wanted to just give a little brief history rundown of the history of Halloween. Now, most of us as Americans, especially in America, we very much like Halloween, and most of us are pretty familiar with the history. So I'm not going to get too deep into it. Plus, we got a lot more fun things to do. So I'm going to just read off a brief history, and it goes as follows. Halloween, or Halloween, is a contraction of All Hallows Eve, and also All Halloween, is a celebration of many observed in many countries on the 31st of October, the eve of Western Christian feasts of All Hallows Day. It begins the observance of Hallowtide, the time in the liturgical year dedicated to remembering the dead, including saints, martyrs, and all faithful departed. One theory holds that many Halloween traditions have been influenced by the ancient Celtic harvest festivals, particularly the Gaelic festival of Samhain. Samhain is believed to have Celtic pagan origins, and some Neolithic passage tombs in Ireland are aligned with the sunrise at the time of Samhain. It is first mentioned in the earliest Irish literature from the 9th century and is associated with many important events in Irish mythology. The early literature of Samhain was marked by great gatherings and feasts, and was when the ancient burial mounds were open, which were seen as portals to the other world. Some of the literature also associates Samhain, dyslexia is going to kill me, with bonfires and sacrifices. The festival did not begin to be recorded in detail until the early modern era. It was when cattle were brought down from the summer pastures and when livestock were slaughtered. As at Beltane, special bonfires were lit. These were deemed to have protective and cleansing powers, and there were rituals involving them. Like Beltane, Samhain was a liminal or threshold festival, when the boundaries between the world and the other world thinned, meaning and this is going to be hard for me to say, I think it's Isi, which is the spirits or the fairies in Gaelic, could more easily come into our world. Most scholars see the Isi as remnants of pagan gods. At Samhain, they were appeased with offerings of food and drink to ensure the people and their livestock survived the winter. The souls of the dead were also thought to revisit their homes seeking hospitality. And a place was set at the table for them during the Samhain meal. Mumming and guising were parts of the festival from at least the early modern era, whereby people went door to door in costumes, reciting verses in exchange for food. According to Irish mythology, Samhain, like Beltane, was a time when the doorways of the other world opened, allowing for supernatural beings and the souls of the dead to come to our world. While Beltane was a summer festival for the living, Samhain was essentially a festival for the dead. As with any festival or holiday, and this is where I get into a couple of the rituals and superstitions. So, as with any festival or holiday, especially when concerning the afterlife, many superstitions arise from the culture participating. And some of these superstitions or rituals during the Samhain festival included: people were often cautioned that if they heard footsteps behind them on the night of Samhain, they should turn back because it may be a spirit following them. If you are a host, a dumb supper, and no one speaks, if you host a supper, I don't know why the word dumb is in there. If you host a supper and no one speaks, the spirits are far more likely to show up. It was believed that ringing a bell on Samhain kept the evil spirits away. Burying animal bones in front of your house on the night of Samhain will keep evil away, according to some legends in Eastern Europe. And Samhain is a good time of the year to work on communicating with the spirit world, reaching out to ancestors, and ask them what you need to know. So with all of that said, that was kind of a lot. But this is kind of the boilerplate history that most of us have learned about, with the concept of bonfires being the cleansing and protecting of the people for the surviving of the winter, to keep the evil spirits at bay. That's why we have jack-o'-lanterns, as they represent small bonfires that are supposed to keep the evil away. We put them at our doorstep. There's a lot of other parallels with the Samhain tradition and Halloween tradition that I didn't get into, but since we are going to keep this brief, I wanted to ask you guys a couple more Halloween type questions. And since Halloween is the day where the spirit world and the real world blend, if you could summon any mythical or magical figure or creature to converse with, who or what would you choose? And we'll start with Keelan.
Ooh, nice. First I have to ask, if I'm conversing with them, is this like a dream, or is this something I can actually retain and utilize?
Let's say it's a moment where you can literally manifest the entity in front of you and have a physical conversation and keep it with you.
All right, don't kill me for this.
No worries.
Hands down, from the lore and understanding that plausibly he was a real person, it would have to be Dracula, honest, just real. And if I needed to give say a 10-second explanation, he understands both planes, the ethereal and the physical. He is well educated in both. And within that, he, aside from his own doings, is immortal. That
True.
leads to a lot of, I don't want to say education, but just experience that can be passed through not just words, but through the actions and the physical like you said, the physical manifestation. So I would be so intrigued that I would assume that if I could manifest him in front of me to have that discussion, that I could probably attain some of those achievements and hopefully use them to not be looked at as a monster.
He would be one hell of a dinner guest, that's for sure.
Right, exactly.
Although you want to make sure you're not on the menu.
For sure.
Yeah. Mike, what about you?
Oh man, for some reason, Rick popped into my head from Rick and Morty.
I guess that's fair. I mean, I don't know if he's dead, but that would be all right.
He's mythical, right?
That's true. That is...
I mean, I could go with Cthulhu.
I like that.
It's either Rick or Cthulhu because I feel like I could get the same information from the two.
Probably. I feel like Cthulhu might be hard. You might have to meet him out in the ocean or something. It's kind of big.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it. Ayla, what about you?
Oh, it is such a hard question. But honestly, I think I would want to talk to Joan of Arc. Find out what's going on with those voices and do they hear anything today? Just chat a little bit about all those experiences.
I like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And you know, you can definitely
I need to know.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that too.
You could run an army too.
I could do that. I mean, you know, I'll learn some real skills. I'll say, okay, so how do you commune on the day, like every day?
Sounds like we all want to take over the world, but hey, you know.
You know, I wouldn't mind.
Just a bunch of Pinky and Brains.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah.
Well, I think I was trying to think of something spooky, but then like since Ayla mentioned Joan of Arc, I also was like, oh, yeah, you could pick a historical figure if you'd like, since it is the blending of the spirit world and the physical world. I think I might choose somebody like Nikola Tesla or something like that.
You would.
Well, I mean, you know, I would want to know like if he was all that was cracked up to be, or you know, like what the state of his philosophy was. Plus, I heard that he made a death ray, and I definitely would want to get the schematics off of that. So
that'd be pretty gnarly. If you could share that with me, that would be great.
Yeah. So I think that would be pretty fun. All right. Well, that brings me to my next question, and this one is going to be kind of contested because it's kind of a 2-in-1 question, but I definitely want to get your guys' input. And so this question I will pose to you, Keelan, is what is the all-time best Halloween candy, hands down?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's not fair. I'm gonna start with I am a starting fit. Like I have layers to everything I have to say, right? It's gonna have to have some type of a dark chocolate base, no question. So for me, it's probably gonna be dark chocolate Twix, dark chocolate, which these are all new-ish, you know. Right. Dark chocolate Twix, dark chocolate Kit Kat, all of that kind of good junk. But if we're talking about old school, you couldn't get it before 2000. I mean, you could only get it before 2010 type candies. It might be Almond Kisses.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah. I never saw many of those until Halloween comes around, and then I have a bag full of them.
That's true. Just kind of like the red and green ones you get for Christmas.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Mike, what do you think? What is hands down the all-time best Halloween candy?
I know what the all-time worst one is.
Well, we're going to get to that. That's the second part of my question.
Oh, man. All right. I won't jump the gun. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, man. Those are my favorite candy. So hands down, anything with like any Halloween candy or Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I'm sold.
Nice.
Yeah, those are iconic too.
I would happily trade up B tier candy for Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, that's S tier for sure. S tier.
And
Ayla, what
then,
about you?
oh, well, I was going to add, they have the pumpkin peanut butter cups too.
That
Those
was
are really
my
dope.
choice.
What's that?
Oh.
That was my choice. The pumpkins.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was just building off of Mike's, but personally, it would be the single serving Fun Dip, where it's one stick and one packet of just sugar, because those are the premium ones. Not everybody bought them, and so if you got one of those, it was super special. Plus, that stick lasts forever. It was just the best.
Dude, those
All
sticks
sugar.
are so delicious.
They really are.
I would just eat the sticks.
Just crunch on them.
Yeah, because they're so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say that there is really nothing better than the Reese's, especially the pumpkin one, because there's a different chocolate to peanut butter ratio than the cup. Don't laugh
I
at
knew
me.
you were gonna go there.
No, but it's true. There is a different ratio. There tends to be more peanut butter in the pumpkin than there are in the cup. So I think that's what I would have to go with. But then my backup is always plain M&Ms. Can't go wrong. Super basic.
So basic.
So basic. Well, since you guys know where the next question is going, I think I'll just pose it and we can all just say it, because what is the all-time worst Halloween candy, everybody?
Candy corn.
Stop!
corn.
It's so good.
It's new, and here's the thing. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm partially with Ayla, and I'm kind of with you guys. I only say it because that is the consensus, and it's still in my top 3 worst. If I'm being honest, it's still in my top 3 worst, but it's not the worst. It's not the worst, if we're being totally honest. Everybody is in denial of what the absolute worst Halloween candy is. Think about it.
Oh boy.
A toothbrush?
No, they refashion it for 2 different holidays.
Vegetables?
For Easter. They refashion it for Easter and for Halloween.
Are you talking Peeps?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Peeps are the best.
Again,
this is where we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
But for Halloween candy, they are the worst. Come on, of all the sugary things you get on Halloween, like for Easter, I understand Peeps because nobody's giving candy for Easter. Like there's just jelly beans and Peeps in Easter. But for Halloween, why are you giving me purple Peeps? For what?
That's true. That's true. And
That's a really good point.
Why is Easter chocolate like the worst chocolate ever? It is so disgusting, that chocolate.
Like it's all the leftover chocolate they put into the egg mold.
Dude, I remember getting you get those like chocolate rabbits in the Easter basket or whatever, like basically like a milk chocolate rabbit that's like, I don't know, like
Hollow.
8 inches tall or whatever, and it's hollow. By far the worst chocolate ever. I never even I tried to eat them each year, and I could never eat them. And for a kid not to be able to eat a chocolate bunny, that's saying something.
Yeah, it was like milk chocolate with extra milk or something, and it didn't have enough sugar in it. There's just something off about those.
You think it was extra milk? I think it was extra air. They just they just thinned it out a little more. That's all.
They just aerated it. Yeah, exactly.
But now, because we have a few people listening as well, I want to make sure that I don't leave them hanging, since I did say I have a 3 worst. Candy corn is number 2, behind Halloween Peeps. But number 3 for me is Twizzler.
Oh, I got to agree.
Oh
man.
yeah,
Twizzlers are awful.
Another candy that only pops up at Halloween.
Lips.
It's red vines or nothing, man.
It's just another candy that it's not that even that Twizzler is a bad candy. It just only pops up at Halloween, and it's like, for why?
Yeah.
What have you guys
100%.
been doing the rest of the year that all of a sudden all the Twizzler are in my bag?
Yeah, that's the worst, man. Especially because they don't make like little individual red vine wraps. So it's like you'll never get a good licorice in your Halloween candy.
True. But you could spend $3 and get 100 of those.
Yeah, that's true. Red vines are so cheap. Okay, so Mike, did you want to expound on why candy? And I agree with you. I think candy corn is the worst, but why is it the worst for you?
because it's not candy. It's some awful thing that some awful human made to trick children into thinking it's candy.
I think it's like the byproduct of something, and they just made it into a candy.
It's like the malt liquor of candies. Is that what you're telling me?
Pretty much.
God.
But I don't know. Peeps are amazing. So I think Keelan's going crazy over there.
Peeps are amazing in April.
In any time of the year. Anytime. Just give me all the Halloween peeps you get this year. I'll take them. Don't worry.
All right, deal. I got you covered. Just shoot me all those dark chocolate Kit Kats.
There you go.
Yeah, you want to keep those, don't you?
No, the milk chocolate Kit Kats are better than the dark chocolate Kit Kats.
Bah, humbug.
I think we'd be actually pretty good if we were all trading candy bags right now. I think we'd all be happy.
I think we just
It seems like we all have our favorites are different. So
for sure.
So Ayla, what is the all-time worst Halloween candy then?
I think it's the non-candy. It's when somebody is like, "Oh, let me have a bowl of wax lips." You can't eat that.
Oh yeah, that was my.
It doesn't even look like lips.
Used to do that. My grandfather used to get away. Okay, so my grandfather, he was like, he's very military, very buttoned up, and very kind of quirky. And every year for Halloween, he would give out pennies, wax lips, and plastic ants.
Costume candy.
Did he give pocket lint too? Damn.
I mean, he might as well have.
Wow, costume candy. I forgot about that stuff.
Yeah, and his whole thing was literally, it wasn't any candy. It was always just a weird because he took it literally. He's actually taking it back to the old school way. It's like a trick or treat. Okay, well, you're getting trick for me. So
oh yeah, let's argue semantics with kids.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna be happy because let me break this down.
That's right. He was being a purist about it. That's all.
Oh jeez. And you guys are crazy. Candy corn is delicious.
I honestly no, it's not.
I'll take it all. Just give me all the candy corn.
After maybe like 3 bottles of vino, I agree.
Yeah. I don't even think after that for me.
I don't know if they would mix well.
That's an assumption.
You would throw up so fast.
It'd be
vino and candy corn. He throw up.
Yeah. It's like
it
red
wouldn't
wine.
Even be colorful anymore. It'd just be like this weird brown.
Oh,
very gross.
We've entered the ghost story portion.
Yeah,
the scary story portion of our talk.
Yeah. Well, awesome. All right. So before I get into the trivia aspect, is there anything you guys wanted to mention for this Halloween episode on your own? This would be a good time to kind of throw out any ideas or conversation pieces that you might want to bring up.
I know for me, something I thought about, and I've been thinking about this. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a lack of excuse me as I jump off the deep end. This may be a lack of cultural discussion, but I'm like, I know a lot of like European scary stories, like horror stories, all of that kind of junk.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Bram Stoker was Irish. Learned that today, or learned that within the last few days. But I don't know a lot of like African lore, I guess.
Right. That is interesting.
From that side of the globe in general, not even just like Africa. Like I don't know Eastern type. A lot of those. There's a lot of. And I don't know, maybe I know Europe's like, some people, Europe's Eastern too, but no, that's not what I mean. I mean, Africa, Asia,
the Middle East.
The Middle East. I don't know a lot of, like, there's a few of them that we only know of because they've been turned into movies or books.
Right.
But, like The Ring and that kind of stuff. But other than that, they don't exist.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard of a scary story from, I don't know, from like, I guess because you can get like the Japanese and Korean like horror movies. Those are pretty good. So they do have some lore for sure, but I guess it just doesn't make it over to here in America.
It only makes it over here if it goes mainstream. There's even a movie coming out right now. I don't know the lead's name. I thought it was Kelly Rowland, but I was wrong. But it's about hair, and it looks amazing.
Oh,
And that was one of the things that sparked that thought. I'm like, wait, when do we get these? Like there's a few out there. Though. I'm not saying there's none, but the amount compared to are bleak.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that'd be an interesting angle for sure. It would be nice to learn. I mean, I love mythology and folklore stuff, so it would be pretty cool to learn about, different monsters from different countries.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like there's a lot of recycled stuff concepts. Thank you. There's definitely a lot of recycled concepts that would open the door for so many concepts that probably haven't even been thought of already.
Well, I just found a kid's book. It's funny, it's a kid's book, but it's called Famous Ghost Stories of Africa. And they have tales from the Cape, South Africa, Egypt, Valley of the Kings, some rock fortress in Libya. So they're out there. And yeah, I think you're right. We should probably do like a follow-up podcast and just talk about some like unknown creepy stories.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, there's another link: creepy African legends and myths. There's
good
ones.
nice.
I am. You're 100% right.
Well, good. Okay, so anybody got anything else before we get into the trivia? I know you guys are chomping at the bit to flex your horror movie and Halloween muscles.
Oh, there's so much expectations here now.
Well, I was going to say I was at Big Lots the other day looking for Drano because apparently in the Quar we have a Drano shortage. You can't find it anywhere. So stock up. But I found that they were already selling Christmas supplies, and one of them were these snowball shooters. So you can buy a box of like foam balls, and then you can buy this little like Nerf gun looking thing to shoot them out. And so I was thinking, for a socially distanced Halloween, should we have trick-or-treaters? I have half of mine to get that little shooter and have like two options. So we could have like the table with the hand sanitizer, and then we could have try your luck, and I'll just try to like shoot candy at people.
I'm sure everybody would appreciate that. Yeah.
That's why they have an option.
Let me shoot candy at your 5-year-old.
Hell yeah.
That seems like fun.
That's how you're going to find out which of these little 5-year-olds are going to be the next receivers in the world.
Right.
Odell Beckham, there he goes.
Yeah.
Makes me think of dodgeball, where he's like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's right. Awesome. Anything else that we want to add before we get into the trivia?
I thought of a story I just remembered, but I don't want to say it's Halloween based, but it is a little spooky.
Okay.
It's somewhat religious based for some, depending on, that's for those who are going to do their extra research and look into that. But it's kind of a story of a guy who was considered extraterrestrial and chopped into different parts and buried in different continents around the world.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And apparently this is a true story. And the lead up before that occurrence was some folks saying this, and this was on it. I want to say this was the 50s, like the 1950s. Like this is some weird, spooky stuff. But there are multiple people, or there was a multiple occurrence type of reporting, like when people see UFOs and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That multiple entities had come down and went to war with the military front that was at the town at the time. And that was one of those stories I thought of when I was trying to get in the Halloween spirit. And I was like, I have to share that one when we're on, just because I don't think it's Halloween based. I think it fits more into this section than the story section, but it's like, why don't we talk about this kind of stuff more often, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would definitely I would like to look into that. If you could send me a link or something to that, I would definitely like to do that. Maybe we can get a separate episode for the podcast with you on it. That'd be pretty cool.
For
Because it
sure.
sounds interesting. I mean, like if it's got aliens and weird
Right.
magical stuff, then I'm all about it. So
Right. And I just thought it was again, the reason I thought of it in reference to going through the Halloween aspect of everything was just like it's so unbelievable that that's kind of how the story would have to be told to some people, like in a spooky sense, like, oh, there's a man who can be dismembered and assemble himself back together.
right, yeah,
Like that's
Pretty
what some
useful
people have
skill.
to hear it,
Yeah.
But I just thought that was one of those like intrigue, and that's why I say into this moment, into this section, because it's an intriguing moment, but still kind of spooky for some.
for sure, yeah.
I have
Make
to
it-
call out Mike's comment. He said, "Yeah, that would be useful." Reassemble after being severed. I would say useful is an understatement, but sure.
Well, you'd probably only have to pay for what, like a check-in for a plane. You have to get a
Pretty
ticket.
much.
In the luggage.
Yeah, just
Pretty
put
much.
yourself in a suitcase.
That's hilarious. But yeah, that's all I got in reference to spooky, though. I just
For
thought
sure.
again, one of those stories. I am kind of spooked out by that story, but once I heard reports of it was plausibly real, I was like, wait, okay, I got to do some research, but I'm still going to share that it's spooky.
Oh yeah. Well, as I said, send me a link and we can probably add or create an episode around it for sure.
For sure.
And I have one spooky fact too.
Oh, yes.
Apparently, since 2018, exorcisms in America have been on a steep increase. And in 2020, there have been thousands of exorcism requests in America.
Yeah, you were telling me about that before, and that was my initial response was like, oh, that's probably not in America. But then you're like, oh, it is in America. That's very strange.
Yeah.
Hear that strange. If you had said that was like, again, Europe, wouldn't be
Right.
surprised.
Yeah, me neither. Be like, oh, those crazy Romanians. They're at it again.
Oh man. Yeah, no, but I thought it was crazy. Like I heard it on some podcast and I was like, no, I'm going to fact check this. And you can look it up. There's a lot of really great articles on multiple news agencies' websites that are talking about this. And I just thought that was so wild because, I mean, yeah, it's just wild.
That is super bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I think that we have postponed the inevitable. So for this segment of the episode, I am going to put our three lovely co-hosts to the test and challenge their spooky knowledge and their horror story knowledge. Now, the way this is going to work is I'm going to go one by one with you guys and give you 5 questions. And so the best out of 5 is the goal. And the 2 with the highest scores at the end will face each other in a 10 question trivia. And then the winner will be receiving something from me, but it will be a surprise because I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be yet. I have my ideas, but I need to make sure that I can actually successfully make it. So I will be working on that over the weekend. You guys can check in with our socials and find out what the grand prize will be for our Halloween 2020 Trivia Championship. But in the meantime, each of you guys is going to get 5 questions. And I tried to make this as entry level as possible because I don't know how, I don't know how knowledgeable you guys are about horror and Halloween and stuff. So I tried to make the questions as accessible as possible with a couple exceptions just to throw you off a little bit. I don't want you guys to get perfect scores. So let's see. I am actually going to start out of order in this just because I have my notes in this direction. So Ayla, you're going to be first. And so the goal is best out of 5, and I will tally how many you get right, and then we'll see who advances to the final round. Ayla, are you ready for your first question?
I am, but I almost wonder if I should tell Keelan and Mike to put their take their headsets off. Cheaters.
Well, no, they're all different. Everybody gets a different set of 5
Oh.
questions. Yeah, don't worry.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I was like, damn, why I gotta be first?
Yeah. Give away all the answers.
Assuming I
Everybody,
get them right. I'll probably get them all wrong. Okay.
yeah. So these are all sort of Halloween style questions, and so I took some from horror movies. I took some from just Halloween lore and other areas, but most of this is probably stuff you know, but maybe a couple more not. So, Ayla, your first question is: in which movie is the main character killed off at the very beginning with a gruesome stabbing scene?
Scream.
Ah, good. Ding, 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 ding.
Hey.
All right. That's 1 for Ayla. That's 1 out of 5 so far. All right. Ayla, your next question is going to be, let's see. Hold on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the next one is also a movie quote. Well, not, yeah. This one is name the movie. In space, no one can hear you scream.
Oh, aliens?
Yes, Alien is correct. Ding, ding, ding,
Yes!
ding, ding. So that's 2. Very nice. Okay, and then your third question is, what is the day after Halloween called?
It's straight up gonna be like November 1st.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. Payroll day? Shit. I don't know.
It is payroll day.
No, I
Paycheck
don't know. Mm-hmm. Oh, daylight savings time. Daylight savings day.
Incorrect. Do you give up?
I do.
The day after Halloween is called All Saints Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Your fourth question is, so that's 2 of 5 so far, and you're on your fourth question. The fourth question is, what agricultural symbol became synonymous with Halloween?
Agricultural symbol. Pitchfork?
No, incorrect. Sorry.
Sad.
The scarecrow. The scarecrow.
Oh my
because
gosh.
of the harvest festival.
I saw a scarecrow literally this morning popping out of the fog on my way to Starbucks. I should have known that. Okay.
All right. So you still got two on the board.
All right.
And this is your final question.
Okay.
Your final question is, what is the surname of Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Oh, Sabrina Spellman.
Correct. Ding, 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 ding.
We were
All
tripping me up
right.
with surname. I know what that is. That's last name. I got this.
Yes, indeed, it is. Well, congratulations, Ayla. You got 3 out of 5.
I'll take it.
All right. 3 out of 5 correct. That's not bad. Not bad, especially since I added a couple of curveballs in there. So, all right, Keelan, I'm going to go to you. Are you ready, my friend?
I've already won.
Oh, nice. I like that. So he's got the winning attitude.
I know diddly about Halloween, but I already won.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. It's already in the bag. Okay. So, Keelan, your first question is, what is Dr. Frankenstein's first name?
Ooh. Oh, wow. That sucks. I literally just watched the Gene Wilder version like not that long ago.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't remember.
Frankenstein.
Right. And that's the only part I remember in my head right now. Geez. I'm gonna jump out there and say Ludwig.
Ludwig is close. It is a German name, but his name is Victor Frankenstein.
Victor. Oh, come on. Victor Von Doom.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so question number 2, Keelan. What colors are Freddy Krueger's sweatshirt?
Oh, red and green.
Very nice. Ding, 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 ding. All right, 1 on the board for Keelan. All right, question number 3. Name the movie from this quote. Do you want to play a game?
Child's Play.
No. Incorrect. The correct answer is Saw.
Whoa! Yeah, I wouldn't have got that one right. Wait, what scene was that? Oh, do you
That's
wanna
a
play a
Jigsaw.
game?
Yeah, Jigsaw's little.
You know what I heard in my head? Do you want to play a game?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Keelan, let's see. Your fourth question is going to be Transylvania is in which country?
Romania?
Correct. Ding, 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 ding. That is 2 right for you, Keelan. Awesome. So you got the third one, or actually your fifth question is, and this is going to be a toughie, so give it a thought. Which was the first film to be based on a Stephen King novel?
Ooh. Ah. I'm not even gonna hold back. I think it was Slenderman, wasn't it?
Incorrect. It was Carrie in the
Really?
1976, I believe. Carrie. Yes, indeed. All right. So Keelan's got 2 on the board. Mike, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Suck it to me. All right.
This is gonna go so well. I'm so excited.
Yes. All right. Which horror movie features a serial killer wearing a William Shatner mask?
Halloween.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding. That is number 1. Nice. All right. So name the movie from this quote. It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Silence of the Lambs.
Ding, ding, ding. That's number 2. Very well done. All right. Number 3 is before pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns were made with what vegetable?
Squash.
Incorrect. The correct answer is turnips.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. All right. So that was number 3, right? Let me give you number
Should
4.
have known that.
Let's see. Number 4. Okay, here we go. So what is the technical term for somebody with a severe fear of Halloween? If you extrapolate, I think you'll be able to you'll be able to get this.
No, for some reason, the first thing that hopped into my mind was weenie phobia.
I like it.
The most ridiculous thing. Yeah, I don't. Spirit halophobia. It's probably some Latin root of Halloween and phobia or something like that.
Well, you are correct with the phobia part. It's actually it's actually Samhainophobia.
Oh, really?
So, yes,
Oh,
they
yeah.
use the actual language there. Yes.
Wow.
And then your final question is with 2 on the board. I believe that. Okay, here we go. Which real life historical figure formed the basis for Dracula?
Vlad the Impaler.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding. With 3 on the board. Awesome. Well done, you guys. And I think that puts Mike and Ayla at the
Lightning
end
round.
there.
Lightning
round.
And
Exactly.
for the record, Mike should have had to call him Vladimir Tempest.
That's true. That is true. Vladimir Tempest is the.
Oh god.
Isn't it always the third place guy who's like, "There's a rule that's missing"?
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Okay, so in this round, you guys, it's going to be Mike and Ayla. So what we're going to do is I have 10 questions here.
Whew.
The best out of 10 wins, but you guys are going to actually have to answer by saying your name to buzz yourself in. So I'm going to ask the question, and then you say your name, and whoever says their name first will get buzzed in. Okay. Now, you get 1 hint, and then you also get 1 steal. So a hint is you'll get a hint if you're stumped on a question, but it only can be 1. And then you can steal once, which means if your opponent gets it wrong and you know the answer, you can say steal and then answer the question.
Sweet.
Okay. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So the first question in the lightning round. Question number 1. The term zombie comes from the folklore of which country?
Whoa. Mike. I'm gonna. I want to say America.
Oh, very close. Very close. The actual answer is Haiti. It comes from Haiti.
Oh, wow.
that's
Yes,
right.
indeed. All right, question number 2. Halloween is the second busiest day after which festival?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. Halloween is the second busiest day after which festival?
Ayla,
Ayla.
and I'm gonna say hint.
Oh, sorry.
I need a hint.
Oh, okay. You need a hint.
Yes.
So the word festival is a misnomer. It's not necessarily a festival. Think of it as a holiday.
And so repeat the question.
Halloween is the second busiest day after which holiday?
Oh, Christmas.
Correct. Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding. One on the board.
knew that hint would be worth it.
All right. So Ayla has 1. Mike has 0, but Ayla spent her hint. So she might be at a disadvantage later on. We'll see. All right. So number 3, question number 3. What is the second most popular Halloween candy in America?
Mike.
Mike.
I'll take a hint.
Take a hint. We've mentioned it in this podcast.
Candy corn?
Yes, indeed. Ding, 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 ding. That is correct. Candy corn.
Popular?
Candy corn is the second most popular, only to chocolate. Chocolate is the first. I don't consider that a candy, really, but whatever. Everybody else does, apparently. All right, so we're all tied up. Mike and Ayla have 1. There's been 3 questions asked. Both of you have used your hints, so you only have 1 steal left. Question number 4, here we go. Which American state does not allow dressing as a priest or nun for Halloween?
Ayla.
Ayla.
And I'm going to say Utah.
Utah is incorrect.
I thought it'd be Utah. Which one is it?
It is pretty close. It is the correct answer is Alabama. Alabama, you are not allowed to dress as a priest or a nun for Halloween.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know if they're still enforcing that, but maybe.
Maybe.
All right. So we're still 1-on-1 on the board. We don't know. We might have to go to a sudden death match, but we'll see. All right. So this one probably will be known by both of you. So question number 5 is, which horror movie kills somebody by forcing them to eat too much?
Ayla.
Mike.
Ayla.
7.
Correct.
Yeah.
7 is the correct answer. That was question number 5. 2 points on the board for Ayla, 1 point on the board for Mike, but we still got 4 questions left. So
And the fans are going wild. All 2 viewers, people.
Hell yes. All right. Question number 6. Which horror film was the first ever in its genre to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar?
Mike?
Mike.
How do you consider this horror? Parasite?
Incorrect. Ayla,
An odd angle.
do you want to take or no?
No,
No, you have to use your steal or not. All right.
I can't.
Yeah. No, you can't just sit there and be like, I don't know. Let me think. The correct answer is The Exorcist. The Exorcist. Yes. All right. So we got 2 on the board for Ayla, 1 on the board for Mike. Question number 7, still anybody's game. And this one is going to be kind of tough. So how many Friday the 13th movies are there?
Mike.
Mike.
9?
Oh, you're so close. So close.
Ooh, steal.
Ayla?
8.
No, sorry. What a waste of a steal.
Clever. It was. No.
You didn't know how close it was. No, it's actually, there were 12 Friday the 13th movies.
Oh,
Son
my
of a
God.
what?
Yeah.
Are you including like Jason versus Freddy and all that?
I think that probably does.
That
Yes.
counts, yeah.
Yeah, includes
'Cause,
those
like-
movies as well.
Like Jason Takes Manhattan is like Friday the 13th, 7 or 8 or something
Yeah,
like that.
probably. There's quite a many of them. All right, question number 8, and it's still 2-1, so anybody's game still. The name, or you have to name the movie from this quote. Okay, be afraid, be very afraid.
I know the quote. Blanking.
I know.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know it.
Nothing.
Nothing.
All right. Well, it was the classic Jeff Goldblum movie, The Fly.
Oh my goodness. I would have
Yes,
never
indeed.
guessed
Yeah.
that.
I would not,
That's
I
right.
would not have got that.
We still
Wow.
have 2 questions to go, and let's see. Okay, so question 9: what movie contains the quote, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy"?
Mike,
Ayla.
Mike.
Oh, dang it.
The Shining.
The Shining is correct. Ding, ding, ding. All right, this is what I was hoping for. 2-2 with
Oh,
the
no.
last question remaining. All right, so here we go. Question number 10 with 2 points on the board for each of our players. Pumpkins can be orange, white, green, or what other color?
I'm waiting for Ayla to take this so I can steal it.
Right.
I got some resources to use. Come on.
Oh, man. Okay, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Pumpkins can be orange, white, green, or what other color?
Ayla, I'm just going to say red.
Red is incorrect. Mike, do you
I
want to
knew
steal?
it was incorrect.
Sure. I'll steal, but I want to say purple.
Oh, you guys are so close. That color is blue. Blue is the actual
What?
other color of pumpkins. I did not know that. Apparently, they're blue pumpkins. Yes.
That's
And someone
insane.
didn't paint them blue.
No, apparently they just naturally are blue. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I need to find
Naturally
them. I've
blue?
never seen them before. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I call shenanigans on that until I see it.
So coincidentally, I have a tiebreaker here. And the way this tiebreaker works is that the closest answer is going to win. So that being said, are you ready for your tiebreaker question?
Yes.
Should I take off my headphones if it's the same question?
No. You guys can both answer, and it'll be kind of like Price is Right. So anybody who wants to come up with an answer. So basically, whoever gets closest to the right answer will win. And it doesn't really matter, like if you hear the other person's answer. It shouldn't. Anyways. So the question is, how many pounds of candy corn are produced each year in America? How many pounds?
Pounds. I'm gonna say 1,200,000 pounds.
Ayla is locked in for 1,200,000 pounds. Mike, what is your answer?
1 pound.
Are you purposely throwing this competition to make a statement?
Well, I think she's over, so I'm just going to say 1 pound. And if you're over, this is Price is Right rules.
No,
right?
no, it's the closest answer.
Yeah, no,
will
but
win.
he said closest.
Closest answer. Closest.
Oh,
answer.
okay.
Yeah. Sorry,
I'm
I
gonna
misspoke.
It
I'm
would
gonna
need to
say
be like
12 million
500.
and 1 pounds.
12,000,001 pounds.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our Halloween is Spooktacular Trivia 2020 champion is Mike. Mike wins.
How many are there?
35 million pounds of candy corn are produced every year in America.
Shut up.
Yep.
5 million every year.
35 million every year. Yep.
Okay, well, y'all can just suck it then, because y'all said that you didn't like candy corn, and I said I did. And you know what? I'm right. It's good stuff.
No,
The
it
taste
just
buds
gets
are just
made.
wrong.
No, yeah, it just gets mass produced. That's all. People
Yeah,
need jobs, Ayla.
Yeah, exactly. That's what a third of our economy runs on, candy corn creation. Awesome. Well, so Mike, you are our first Halloween Trivia 2020 champion. I will be letting you know what your prize will be, but I'm thinking of creating a Exofathom challenge coin. So we will be working on that this weekend, and I will share that to the socials for our audience to watch as well. But yeah, congratulations, good sir, and thank you very much for playing, all of you guys, Keelan as well. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Fun facts.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's
If I may be honest, I was super jealous at the first question of the lightning round. I was like, that's too easy.
Yeah, I was really trying to mix it up, trying to make it, a little bit easy, some harder. So I didn't want it all to be too easy. So there we go.
No, some good questions.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks
well,
for hosting that, Nick.
Of course. No problem. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the first portion of our episode here. Before we get into our scary stories for everybody listening, does anybody want to add anything before we start jumping into the stories?
It's way too much candy corn being produced in America.
Way too much. Too much.
I am slightly. I am at odds, as T.I. says. I think Ayla knows the video I'm talking about.
I was just saying, you sound more like disturbed.
There is so many like Halloween parties being thrown and events that I was invited to this week.
Oh, you don't get, bro.
I am irritated at the fact that not that I was invited. Like, I'm grateful for being invited. In fact, I wanted to go to nearly everything I was invited to.
Yeah.
But it was that thought that even though I know you're telling me it's invite only, there's going to be at least 200 people there. And I don't know if I want to be in that vicinity.
Yeah. Can't blame you. That's kind of like jumping into the ocean when you don't know how to swim.
For sure. For sure.
Like, yeah, you can handle like a couple people hanging out and, ease yourself back into being social. But yeah, going to like a rave or something, that's probably not
basically. Yeah, at least two of the things I was invited to basically were raves for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you never know when the COVID's going to mutate into zombie apocalypse.
When it's going to get you.
Yeah, you could be at like the super spreader zombie event.
The super spreader zombie event. Oh my gosh.
Do people start turning in the middle of the rave? Is that how the super spreader zombie
That'd be
event
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That is how the there's like a zombie TV show that starts out. There's like a rave on a boat, and then everybody just starts going crazy, and they're all stuck on the boat, so everybody turns.
That's like the worst place to get it's the best place for you to get stuck on, like for a zombie apocalypse. Like being out on a boat in the middle of the ocean is probably the best spot, unless you have a zombie on the boat.
For sure. If you have a zombie on a boat, it is 1000% the worst place to be, because
right.
Your best bet is you have a dumb zombie and you can go for a swim, and the zombie's just gonna walk into the water and follow you and sink to the bottom.
There you go.
That's never happened in any of the scary movies.
That's true. Well, yeah, I've never seen that yet. So maybe they can swim.
If they're like Shaun of the Dead zombies, they can help you with the boat.
Oh, I forgot about Shaun of the Dead zombies.
Yeah.
If they're Shaun of the Dead zombies, we might be able to make it, and we can just train them like circus seals.
Yeah, they can tie knots and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It'd be awesome.
But if they tie knots, they can also shoot guns. So I'm
put them in the crow's nest, and whenever they see land, they just do.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about running out of food or anything, I suppose, right?
You don't got to worry about scurvy.
That's true. All right.
That is a top concern.
It is. All right, so I guess we're going to get into our super spooky ghost stories now. For this segment of the episode, we all wanted to take turns in telling a either original ghost story or one that we found on the internet. And these were just meant to be kind of a fun thing. Wanted to just bring the spooky season to a close with our very own ghost stories, and we hope that you guys enjoy them. I think I'll go first. I'm trying to see, I don't know how long mine is going to be. I'm hoping it's not longer than I expected, but it should be pretty good. It doesn't look too bad. So when I was looking for this story, like I was I was trying to find something that was going to be concise, but also a little bit fleshed out, because some of the shorter stories that I found didn't really have the oomph that a spooky story that might have. So I did a little digging, and I looked, of course, at creepypastas, because that is where most of the good scary stories come from now on the internet. And I was able to find one that is appropriate, and it's called Trick or Treat. And the author is, before I forget, so that I can give credit to the author, is Violent Harvest. I guess they're probably on creepypasta. So if you like this story, perhaps you'll go and check them out. But this story is called Trick or Treat, and basically it goes a little bit something like this. Don't bother trying to find it. You won't find anything about the name of the town or what happened there. This manuscript will be found after a long time after the events that transpired in this place. But I hope against everything else that you're someone in a position of power. I pray to God himself that you can prevent this from happening ever again. But I don't want to give you too much credit. Like me, you're only human after all. They are not. They've been around for a very, very long time. Fat chance, really. You probably don't want that you probably don't want that responsibility. And even if you did, even if you did take it upon your shoulders to track them down, you can't single-handedly stop the children. Their manipulators are not on the grid. Whoever engineered this is in control of the world, and a very disturbing level. This is what I want you to do. Read these pages, if they're still legible, and take from what you will. Do not go on a wild goose chase, and realize that when you find this book, that it will not be the place where you left it. They'll move it somewhere else to deceive you. I left my mark on a tree there. Only then, when you have seen my name, will you know this is the place. You may have even heard of it in the history books, but be assured any rumors on Wikipedia or Google pages that you pull up will be guesswork at best. None of them are even close to the truth. When you find the place, there may already be another town just like it. That's what I'm trying to stop. If we're not successful, then just realize, above all things, that evil exists. I'm not talking about bad people or tragic accidents. I'm talking about real, intelligent, ancient evil. It is calculated and is always one step ahead of you. Should you decide to take my place and become the paragon to prevent the corruption of the hearts and minds of children, I thank you in advance. I told you that I am human, but I lied. I used to be, before All Hallows Eve, on that fateful night. I've been alive since then, far longer than any human being. And the reason is because I love children. I've always loved them in their purity and their innocence. That's why I was taken by their ruse. That's why I finally decided to put all this down, centuries later. I won't be here much longer, and someone has to take up the burden. I've waited until I saw them return. They'll be back this year. They're planning the same thing again, and I can't stop them. Again, I can't expect that much from you, but I'm only giving you all of this so that you believe me. I have to have you believe me. If you think I'm crazy, you'll throw this in the garbage can, and more people will disappear. It's time to tell you what happened. Back then, All Hallows Eve was the night for evil's ascension. You've all forgotten. If you left your house on that night, in the old country, you were a devil worshiper. Halloween was not the term we used. We fled the shores of this country because we were persecuted for our lifestyle choices. We worshiped nature, the changing of the seasons, the solstice of spring, autumn, winter, and summer. In the purest sense of the word, we were druids. Our names and accents were English, but we were servants of the earth. We were some of the first to celebrate it as a holiday. The natives here were puzzled by our behavior, but also frightened by it, and so they left us alone. They misunderstood. We were not the ones to be afraid of. At the time, I was relieved. They'd attack us in our settlements time and time again, but as it drew closer to the end of October, they stayed away. Maybe in their own noble bonds with the earth and soil, they knew something terrible was on the horizon. They were right. John Hunter's little boy wanted to be a native, with a bow and arrow and real headdress. Little Mary Taylor made a dress that was crafted after the local schoolhouse teacher's prettiest outfit. She idolized her educator, of course. They all had their get-ups, They all had their get-ups. They were the first trick-or-treaters in what was to become the United States of America, 150 years later. We sent them out to frolic about the settlements, collecting apples and tarts and other sweet things into their burlap goodie bags. There were no Snickers or Milky Ways, and yet the magic of this holiday held no less sway over them than it does the youth of our current time. They dressed up as the Joker, the Power Rangers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These children were their predecessors. I sent my daughter with Mary and John Hunter Jr. Despite our mistrust and wariness of the Anglican Church and the monarchs that preside over it, my little girl was dressed up as the Queen of England. I refused to crush her fantasy world, and so I simply indulged her. We heard promises to return after sundown, to say yes, ma'am, and no, sir, and not to linger too long if they were invited inside the households of our community. We didn't realize that the house on the edge of the settlement existed until we saw the children go inside. There were no lanterns or sources of light in the windows, no fire or harvest stalls outside the dwelling. As we sat in the middle of the town hall, imbibing in the pleasures of distilled moonshine, none of you will ever make it as potent as we did back in those days, amongst our brethren, we watched our youngest ones gravitate across the middle of the town to the foreboding household that seemingly been constructed overnight. When we gazed upon it, it seemed as though this place was shimmering. It had a vision to look upon the building, as if my senses were being forced and propelled in another direction. Such a thing is difficult to put into words, but it seemed to be the only person who realized that our kids were heading to the same place. When I questioned John Hunter as if something was odd about their actions, he stared at me as if I was insane. "What do you mean?" he asked. "There's no house there. They're going to play by the stockades." The sun had set at this point, but as I said before, none of them were concerned. The natives hadn't shown up for weeks. I decided to walk to the phantom dwelling that only I and the children could see, to peer inside and see who the new settlers were, and why it called to the youths as if it were a black hole in a sea of stars. I tried to stand outside, to look through the window, but when I saw what was happening, it was too late. I breached the doorway with my buck knife drawn, and there was nothing about the things inside that I could harm with a weapon. There's something deep inside of us, something embedded in the human spirit that's perfectly aware when we encounter something truly terrible. Fear, horror, evil, revulsion, it all hits you in spastic waves, like a fierce exploding bullet that shatters the innermost part of your soul with a relentless and powerful fury. It is in that moment, standing in that darkened doorway. They weren't people, and they weren't spirits. They were halfway there, lingering over an unconscious body of my daughter and her peers in their hooded black robes of half existence. There was one in particular who made me feel as though my eyes would pop out like ripened cherries when I stared at it. It was the leader, the source of that tug, that pull, and it was slowly fading, disappearing like a gaseous black cloud of death, through my little girl's nostrils and mouth. She was gasping for air, as if every breath after the one that preceded it was filled with acid, as if she were hungry for real, fresh air in her small lungs. With every breath, the figure faded deeper into her, along with the rest of them. I wish I could say that I was a hero and that I hacked them all to bits. I wish I could say that I saved the day and made Halloween a night when the worst things that children have to worry about is poison candy. It didn't happen. There was one of them left, floating towards me on elongated, blackened tendrils of shimmering nothingness. By all means of my imagination, it shouldn't have been there, but it was, and soon it was going to be inside of me. The last thing I see were these little feet scurrying out of the phantom house and into the town. I felt that something terrible was about to happen. I had no idea. Everything went black, and then I was outside of myself. I was conscious, but my observing feet, my hands, doing things beyond my own scope of physical control. They led me to our children in the meeting hall, where, of course, the kids were embraced by the open, loving arms of their parents. I witnessed the betrayal, the brutal moment in which the truth instilled by the love for family and offspring would transform into a cause for the destruction of our village. They absorbed them. There's no better adjective for what happened. One moment they were there, and seconds later, they were nothing but dark essence, filtering in through the eyes and noses of the mouths of the devil children. It was over in minutes. A night that should have been celebrated of nature and seasons, and the turn into the end of everything that we knew and loved in our new land. I started to fight it. The kids knew. The moment I began to resist, to try and reclaim my limbs and mind from the corrupting influence within, their heads snapped back from their feasts of souls to survey me and struggle. My daughter's eyes were sunken, black pools of the abyss, devoid of any emotion, any semblance of bright-eyed stature that she once held for me in all of her love and adoration for father. I miss that most of all, really. The way she'd run to me when I came home from the fields every evening as the sun went down. I lived for that. What reason do I have to live now, other than to find her and stop them? I am incapable. This falls to you, my friend. They took the part of my daughter that counts, the part that I love and cherish, and turned her into a servant. You ask me why I'm still alive, and again, it's because I love her very, very much. Her body is a hollow shell filled with the malefice and blackness of evils beyond our world. The black-robed things have grown as centuries have passed. They are from some place that is not of this world, but their urgency, their hunger to devour and destroy is insatiable. It's an exponential amplifying contagion on mankind, and All Hallows Eve is their pinnacle, their Christmas. I've done my best to warn you throughout history, to leave my marks in places where the desolation has left nothing but dust on the wind and empty houses. A deserted football field in the Texas ghost town. A card room in the back of a nightclub in Chicago, right under the nose of civilization. Roanoke Island, North Carolina, before John Rolfe found it in the aftermath. The things that I expelled through sheer force of will alone has left me with an unusually long and empty life, devoid of anything but desires for revenge. I have failed. I am pleading with you. October 31st is not long away. My little girl, or what is left of her, is going to lead them to the same place. It's been refound, except now it hums with the sport utility vehicles and cell phones. I don't want this to happen to your child. Go to Roanoke and stop them from repeating the ritual. Those bodies they inhabit are now frail and on their way out. It's been almost 500 years. They'll need new ones this Halloween, looking for a building that appears as though it shouldn't be there. It should be across from the very tree where I signed my name and made my mark. I changed my title, named myself after the tribe of natives who knew it was coming, who, perhaps, tried to warn us, but for some reason, we had failed to heed or recognize their warnings. They were more closely attuned to the earth than us, and yet they were still wiped out eventually. Trick or treat. And that is the end of that one.
Dang. That is some spooky shit.
Spooky.
Oh, gosh.
All right.
So my kids won't be trick or treating, is what your story just
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yes, you
And
want.
when
At
they
least
do
don't
go
let them.
trick or treating, it'll be in the doors that are inside my home.
Right, yeah. Don't let them trick or treat in the woods. That's for sure.
Messed up parenting. Or you want to start over? You let the kid go trick or treating.
Right. There you go. That's true. You get a freebie after that
So,
one.
so what you're saying, Mike, is this sounds like somewhere in the Carolinas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, somewhere wherever my parents took me trick or treating, one of the two.
Nice.
I just never got caught up. I lived it.
Awesome.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
There was a few moments that I was like, oh, I know where this is going. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, who wants to go next? I think Keelan, maybe.
Yeah, I could definitely go. For context, just because like I said earlier, I was really like, yo, these are all awesome. I am gonna pick at random. I gave myself 5 to choose from. One is kind of lengthy, and the other ones are all like less than 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, whichever one you want, man. Don't worry.
For sure. And if I end up picking a short one and you guys deem it too short, I'll read the longest one because they're all pretty good.
Wow, we won't judge you on length. Don't worry.
For sure. I am gonna go with this one. Ooh, nice. Okay, I liked it. I really like this one because I think we all have this experience in real lifetime. Like,
Awesome.
All right, so this one is also from Creepypasta. It is authored by Peter O'Shamsane. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just his author name. Hey, but maybe it's not. Who knows? But it's Peter O'Shamsane on Creepypasta, and it is called A Warning About Silence. It is from 2017. Everyone, regardless of their particular mental state, has a curious kind of background noise in their mind. When the noise takes form of original music, we call it being a genius. When it sounds like voices, we tend to call it schizophrenia. A single voice is often referred to as religion. Most people go through their entire lives without ever being consciously aware of this omnipresent oral phenomenon. Oral phenomenon. Save for these rare moments when it catches their attention. Perhaps they think they've heard their name being called, or they've been listening to the air rustling through the vents in their house. One way or another, those noises are there. You can hear it if you listen for it. Lie down in a quiet room and focus on clearing your mind. Mute your internal monologue. Erase the scenes from your imagination and let yourself sink into the silence. Before long, the whispers of that soundtrack will become evident, then grow louder as you learn to recognize them. It could be that you'll find answers to questions you didn't even know you were asking, or perhaps discover a sense of inner peace that had been lacking in your life. Some folks refer to this as meditation. Even if they're mistaken about what's really going on. The truth you see is much less comforting. If you've ever gone walking in the woods, you've likely encountered a cacophony of noises. The songs of birds, the chirping of insects, and the quiet rustles of small animals rushing through the undergrowth. They become a commonplace so that your mind tends to tune them out. What we notice, though, is what happens when a predator draws near. The chorus abruptly stops. The forest becomes deathly still. A person walking amidst the sudden silence might feel the hairs on the back of their neck start to rise and notice their heart pounding with a mixture of adrenaline and dread. When you listen to the sounds in your mind, it doesn't matter what form they take. What matters is that you can hear them at all. As long as that clamor is present, you know that you're safe. All is well, even in the most tumultuous of times. The danger arises when the noise seems to stop. You suddenly experience the most potent silence that you've ever encountered. In that moment, you may start to feel as though you're being watched. After all, in that still forest, the predator is the quietest of all. Try it for yourself, if you like. When next you are completely alone, imagine you're listening to a sound of some kind. When that sound seems to stop, you'll know that you've been noticed. That's the all.
Oh, I like that one. Short and psychological.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
There's no chill up my spine or anything.
That when I read that one originally, I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I've had that experience way too many times.
Oh yeah, I think I've had that experience of like that deafening silence before.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, that was great.
Hear,
That was very nice.
Yeah, well
It
written
picks up
too.
like that.
Yeah, I thought that one was really good. And if I may, I won't read the longest one, but I'll read another short one.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll jump the long ones. There was one long one that kind of spooked me, but yeah.
You're like,
You
I will
don't want
not
to read it,
that
is what you're
twice.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll read it, but you guys will definitely have to ask for it.
Fair enough. You won't ask.
All right. So this one did not have an author. I thought that was weird. Also coming from Creepypasta, because most of the things on Creepypasta are author. It's like the Reddit of creepy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was weird, but at the same time, it made it a little more creepy in its own right. So this is called The Third Wish, and it is from 2008. An elderly man was sitting on a dark path. He wasn't sure of which direction to go, and he'd forgotten both where he was traveling to and who he was. He sat down for a moment to rest his weary legs and suddenly looked up to see an elderly woman before him. She grinned toothlessly and with a cackle spoke. Now, with your third wish, what will it be? Third wish? The man was baffled. How can it be a third wish if I haven't had a first or a second wish? You've had 2 wishes already, the hag said. But your second wish was for me to return everything to as it was before you had your first wish. That's why you remember nothing, because everything is the way it was before you made any wishes. She cackled at the poor man. So it is you that has 1 wish left. All right, he said hesitantly. I don't believe this, but there's no harm in trying. I wish to know who I am. Funny, the old woman said as she granted his wish and disappeared forever. That was your first wish. That's all.
I like
I
that.
like that one.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good. Something about those little ones that are just so stingy and nice.
It
I
reminds
think
me
they
of,
hit the
like-
core of the things we don't want to discuss sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah, like it has a. Have you ever read Spider-Man: One Moment in Time?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
Now we're gonna go down our. Can I jump down a rabbit hole real fast?
Sure, go
Sure.
for it.
So in Civil War, Peter Parker amassed himself, and he's like, "I'm Spider-Man," and basically, what you expect would happen. All his villains end up targeting his family. So he makes a deal with the devil to change everything back to what it was before.
Mm.
The only thing that he has to give up, though, is his wife, Mary Jane. He can't love her anymore.
Mm.
And so he does that, and he just rewrites all of history, but he's stuck with these memories of everything that's happened. And I'm picking up those like one moment in time type vibes.
Totally. Yeah,
That's dope.
I like
And
that.
if what's crazy, because I've never even heard of that particular Spider-Man story, is it almost makes it would make everyone else's experience when him and Dr. Octavius switch brains make sense.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's a good. It's only like a 6-issue run, and it all centers around this conversation that Mary Jane and Peter have, and it's a good little comic run.
Good shit.
Does anybody else feel like Mary Jane was toxic? Don't answer that question. I just wanted to ask it.
Well, the dude is settling. Like, he liked Gwen, and then he accidentally killed her, and so things got awkward.
Wow, you took it way back.
Yeah, no, I went back way far. It's like this, like the early Spider-Man runs.
Mm.
Ah,
No.
I love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, Ayla, I think you're next.
All right. So, this one is an amalgam of spooky, scary stories I grew up with. So, based on some truth, with a little extra, it's called Dirt Roads. I hope you enjoy it. So, one summer, I convinced my friend Sandy to drive with me to my grandmother's house. Located in the middle of nowhere, her home is surrounded by nature with only a handful of homes scattered over a 100-mile radius. It's a lovely place, and I was eager to get there. So eager that I made a simple decision that would irrevocably change the way I feel about driving on dirt roads at night. You see, there were 2 ways to end our journey that day. We could have taken a 3-hour detour, or we could take a shortcut on a dirt road that's about an hour drive. A no-brainer to me, but Sandy was legitimately against it. You see, the way to find this unmarked dirt road is to wait until you've passed a gas station, drive about 20 minutes, and then look for where the tire tracks come out of a road. Sandy almost convinced me to take the long route, but we realized we didn't have enough gas, and so I checked my odometer and we started to look for this dirt road. Sure enough, we spotted the tire tracks and we made our exit. A little while into the road, I heard our radio begin to static. We must have lost signal, so we forged ahead in silence. But now we could hear how rough the washboard road was, so great. We'd have to drive even slower, about 10 miles an hour, to avoid any major damage. And as we make our way, the sun is setting, but there's light enough for me to see a coyote dart in front of us and disappear. Now, this wasn't a good sign. According to my aunts, a coyote running north in front of you generally means that you should turn around and not proceed. Unfortunately, the road had narrowed, and there was a sandbank on either side of us. Turning around wasn't an option, or we could get stuck. And it was about to get very dark, too. So the best I could do was get out of the car quickly, put some corn pollen down, and say a prayer. But as I started to put the corn pollen on the ground, I noticed that the paw prints left behind by this coyote were a bit larger than normal. It almost seemed as if the nails were just about as long as the paw, and sort of a human foot shape, with long nails extending past it. And I suddenly noticed how dark it had become so quickly, and I got back in the car. As we continued to drive, I started to think on how we hadn't seen any cars coming towards us, not on the highway, not on the dirt road, and it was eerily quiet. My headlights gave us about 20 feet of light in front of us, and to our left and our right, maybe there was an extra 6 feet of light. Beyond that, it was pitch black. I couldn't even see stars, which seemed odd. "Where are the houses?" Sandy asked. I was hoping she wouldn't notice. For some reason, no one ever lived in this stretch of land. I didn't know the real why, just children's stories about phantom hitchhikers, skinwalkers, and UFOs. Still, I tried to push my car a little faster. I checked my clock, and it seemed that we had been driving for over an hour. We should have hit the highway by now. Were we lost? Was there a fork in the road that I didn't see? Why haven't we seen any people drive by us? And if we're really lost, how much gas do I have left in the tank? Sandy interrupts again. With a tinge of dread in her voice, she tells me she has to use the bathroom. Admittedly, I was holding it too, and neither of us wanted to get out of the car, but we had no choice. Like big girls, we stop the car, grab a flashlight, and get out into the cold, silent, dark night. We head to the back of the car and try to be quick about it. It was just so quiet, the kind of quiet where you'd think you're going to hear something break that silence. And once we were done, I reached for the flashlight, but nervously, and accidentally knocked it over, sending it rolling right under the car. On top of that, the battery must have come loose because the light turned off. I wanted to cry, and Sandy was just whispering for me to hurry up. I reminded myself, I'm an adult, as I'm searching under the car for this flashlight. It was so dark, and I just had this terrible feeling, sort of like when someone wants to say something to you but isn't being direct about it. My hand hit something scratchy. I draw back, and I hit the flashlight again. I grab it, jostling it for the batteries to work again, and right as I did, it sounded like 10 people suddenly started running away from us in every direction. Footfalls in the sand, bushes shaking, and then it was quiet. I wanted to scream, but I stayed quiet and jumped in the car. Turning on the ignition, my headlights come on, and I see that same coyote in front of us. It's just standing there, staring, but its face is distorted, and the tail, it's drooping, and its back is, well, it's growing somehow. It starts to hunch, and as it got bigger, I thought, I've seen enough. I hit the gas, and now the coyote is the size of a Great Dane, and I keep driving. It runs away, but it is only using its back legs. Then something hits the car. Sandy and I are panicking. We start pushing the car faster and faster, the full limits on a washboard road sandwiched between two sandy banks. I check the gas, barely a quarter of a tank. I check my watch, and somehow it's moved 5 hours, but the car clock says it's been 3. Nothing makes sense, and everywhere I look, it's dark. Not even a light in the distance, and now, out of the corner of my eye, I know there's a shadowed figure keeping pace with our car. Finally, in the next moment, Sandy's phone makes a little ping sound. She has service. She checks GPS. While I watch in my side mirror as some kind of opening appears, the thing that was running next to us then crawls inside of it, and several more things rush in and disappear. Sandy then tells me that there's a fork in the road coming and to turn right. I make the turn and we keep driving. We don't say much. A light appears in the distance. It's a trading post. We've made it. And I can see stars again. The radio comes back on. We're going to be okay. I honestly don't remember much from the rest of that night. We drove in silence, got to my grandmother's home, and went to bed. The next morning, though, I couldn't find Sandy. I had checked everywhere, and even her luggage was gone. So I checked my phone, and there was a voicemail. It was Sandy's cousin calling to let me know the details for Sandy's memorial. And to this day, I don't know if somehow Sandy was taken that night, or if she was in my car to protect me. After all, Sandy told me not to go on that road and where to find the flashlight, and she helped me find the turn off to get off the road that I will never drive down again.
Ooh.
And scene.
Them back roads.
Very nice.
Back roads. I got scary reading that.
I am sitting here trying to take my eyebrows out of my hair, well, where my hairline used to be.
Yay!
Very well done. Very well done.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
nice.
And for our audience, that was an original story by Ayla. So
You're
she did not copy like me and Keelan did.
Right. Yeah, we only read stories. We are not art.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch us at your local library.
Yeah.
Hey, oration's an art. I know
Yeah,
what
there
you're
you
talking
go.
about.
Yeah, true.
Well, that was great. Very nicely done, Ayla.
Thank you. I know, and it's based on a trip I made where I did think I was lost and was running out of gas. So I know exactly that feeling. It's the worst.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Not good. All right. Well, that leaves us with Mike.
Yeah, I'm just trying to release a bit of the fear from Ayla's story. Just give you a
Good.
second.
Yeah, no worries.
So spooky.
So spooky.
It was the portal, huh? The portal with things crawling in.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the coyote. You kidding me? What are you talking about? So my story takes place like right after I turned 23, somewhere around there. I was going to UC Irvine, and I just like for a week or like 2 weeks, I kept getting this thing in the mail that just asked me if I was pretty. That's all I do is like yes or no, like are you pretty? And I had been trying to be social. I'd try to reach out to a few fraternities, so I thought maybe this was like their initiation to the whole thing. So eventually I got tired of like getting it, so I just marked no. And I returned it to the address that came with it and everything. And maybe a few days later, I get a package back. And all it has in it is a mask and a piece of paper with an address with a date and a time. And on the mask is like this taped thing that says pretty on it. And at this point, my curiosity is like just soaring, just going crazy. So it comes around Halloween. It seems like a Halloween party or a Halloween type event. So I take the mask and try to dress up the best I can and go to the address. The address is in the middle of nowhere, somewhere between like Irvine and the Salton Sea or something, going east. So like between the California state line and Irvine proper in the middle of nowhere. And like I'm driving up in an 87 Ford Ranger and I'm looking and all I'm seeing is like Maseratis, Lexuses, Mercedes, like just high-end cars. So I kind of know I'm out of my social class, so to say. But I get there and I put on the mask and I walk in and it's like at this mansion. It's crazy fancy. They had an open whiskey bar, so that's obviously what I hit up first after I got in. Again, with the mask on, that was the one rule. So I go grab this whiskey, and it's something I've never heard of before. Something like I was fairly new into alcohol, so I didn't really know what I was drinking, but it didn't really taste like whiskey. It tasted like just weird. So after a few glasses of that and failing to properly socialize with any sort of mass group that was there, and mind you, like some people had the mask that said pretty on it, and a lot of people had the mask that said ugly on it. But like after failing socializing, I go and like I'm able to find the study, and in there was this guy that was there earlier at the party, but he had a different mask on. He just had the skull mask on. And I never saw him before this. So in the study, he just looks at me. He's just like, nice mask. And I don't, maybe we had a conversation. I was pretty drunk at the time. And like that weird tasting whiskey had some sort of effect on me. I don't know. And like, I'm starting to pass out in the study now, pretty much alone. We had our little conversation or whatever, and the guy left. And then I heard this scream, like the type of scream that reminded me of like being young and watching old movies. Like it was like this weird blood curdling scream, and it kind of shook me into sobriety. And like I walk out of the study and I kind of like go back to the main group, and the dude with the skull mask is dead proper. And if I remember correctly, we might have been into like the wee hours of the next day. Like I think it was Halloween or like that time. And so like somebody takes off their mask, and as they take it off, their skin has morphed to the shape of the mask that they had on. And it was the ugly mask. And everybody like panicked. Like it was a rush out of the party at this point. And I still don't know what's going on because I'm still in proper drunkard mode. And so I kind of wander out with my mask on and find my truck and fall asleep. And in the next morning when I wake up, I remember all of this and remember like this weird thing of panic that set over. Like I changed somehow. And so I take off the mask, the quote unquote pretty mask, and I look in my rearview mirror, very much hungover. And I noticed nothing changed. And that's the end of my story. And I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know what the hell happened that night. But it was definitely a spooky event.
It sounds like some Eyes Wide Shut going on, man.
That's a lot of nope, man.
The dude with the skull mask was really nice. What I can remember parts of.
It's funny because I'm with Ayla. Like I was thinking, I was like, yo, Mike had a really hard acid trip and he watched like Eyes Wide Shut and what's the other one? Not the Order.
Absinthe.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't remember what the name of it, but it's the one with the guy from Dawson's Creek.
Skeleton Key. Crossing Bones.
Crossing Bones. Yeah, Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, yeah, that you got lit on acid and watched that and Eyes Wide Shut back to back.
And then pass out in your truck.
Just don't want you to carry this
just
on
walk
into
outside.
life. I just don't want you to carry this on into life as like something residual that you can't get over.
Yeah, right.
That's what happened.
I'm just mad that when I took off the mask, I wasn't pretty. Like everyone else got ugly. Why can't I get pretty?
Oh man.
But you were pretty the entire time.
Yeah, that's what the mailers were about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
See,
you're
it was a
inside
trick
pretty.
question because the moral of the story, right, is if you consider yourself pretty, you really probably aren't.
Ooh,
So it
there
was
is.
the consideration and the understanding that you don't see yourself as pretty that made you beautiful.
That was a scary story with the
That's
lesson.
right.
I like
but
that.
It's a
did the
moral.
old guy have to die though?
Yes.
Yeah. Wait. Here's an answer to your question in the form of a question. Did Blue have to die in old school?
Yes. It was the foil for the rest of the story.
Oh,
Well,
man.
awesome. Thank you
That
all.
was great.
Thank all of you guys for bringing your stories. I very much appreciate them, and I think that they were really top notch. So thank you guys. That was fun.
For
Definitely.
sure. I just want to say next time I need a moment in my life interpreted, I'm calling Mike or I'm calling Ayla, and one of
There
you
you
guys
go.
are going to help me break this down.
There you go.
You got it.
And I remember
door's
my
always
dreams
open.
very vividly, so don't think I'm
Ooh.
joking. This will happen.
Mhm.
You're like
Yeah,
ghost
awesome.
writing the next Stephen King.
There you go. Hell yeah.
I like it.
Well, I think that's going to sort of wrap us up. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we wrap up?
I really appreciate the invite and the time and being here. This was great. I wish I had more Halloween stuff to add because I don't want to jump off with you guys yet. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
No, absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
ditto.
for joining us, man. We really had a treat. It was very nice to have you on, and we're gonna look into that story that you were talking about. Maybe we can do a special Exofathom on it.
For sure. And like I said, there is a little more research I have to do on it as well. So I'm sure by the next time we even have this discussion about it, we'll both have way more information on it.
That sounds great. Yeah,
And just hearing that it happened within the last generation pretty much is
that's pretty cool too.
because the first time I heard it, I thought they were talking about like the 1800s, and they were not.
Right.
Freaky.
Well, Ayla, Mike, my lovely co-host, do you guys have anything else that you want to add before we wrap up?
Well, I would just say since Christmas decorations have been out since September,
Yeah.
I think that the Halloween spirit shall be alive for the rest of the year. So, spooky October, spooky November, and December to everybody listening. And I'm looking forward to more spooky podcasts. And, we love talking about all that out there stuff. So, maybe if people listening can share their favorite scary stories in the comments, we can start to pick and choose some other ones to share in the future.
Definitely. Yeah. Mike, you got anything?
Happy All Hallows Eve.
Hey, happy All
For
Hallows
sure, for
Eve.
sure.
Definitely.
And with Mike saying happy All Hallows Eve, can I add for anyone who wants to do like something really scary tomorrow? And you can do this in the daytime. Actually, I think you should do this in the daytime. I'm not sure if you can do this at night, but something that's really scary that you can do in the year 2020 on October 31st is go vote.
Oh, very scary.
Right. Oh, there it is.
Whoa.
Gotcha.
Probably the
Well-
scariest thing you'll do all year.
Right.
Fair. I may be one of your computer technicians. So there might be some fear now.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
For real though. But yeah, so that I thought about that. I was like, what if I had to do something scary this Halloween? At first I was like scary movies, and then I remembered, well, I did already, but I remember that it's within that time frame. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just
All
say I'm
right.
stocking up on the schnapps for.
Yeah,
Oh man.
totally.
We have a rule. We don't bring the outside world into these shows, but I do think in this case it's important. Everybody should vote for sure.
Mhm.
And yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you very much, you guys. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We hope you enjoyed this special Halloween episode. Thank you again to Keelan. We really appreciate you, man. And make sure you guys go give him some love over at his podcast, If Numbers Can Talk. That's on Facebook. And he's got an Instagram account, If Numbers Can Talk, all with underscores between each word. So be sure to check him out, give him a follow, give him a like, give a comment, let him know how you like his episodes, how you like his podcast. And stay tuned to see him on future podcasts. We definitely want to have him back. So thank you guys again. We hope that you enjoyed, and we would ask that you give us here at Exofathom a like and a comment. Let us know what you thought. Like Ayla said, if you have any topics that you want to bring to us that you would like us to talk about, please let us know, and we will be happy to accommodate. Until next time, Cognonauts, stay out there, and we will catch you on the next Exofathom. Good night, everyone.
Peace.
Later.